Hello, it's me.
What's good, YouTube? It's good to see you. Good to see you. I hope you all are doing well. Now, we've got a really good one today, and it's actually from some of my favorite creators of all time. You know, this is a React channel, so we're reacting and farming everyone equally. But this one is titled Black Principal Faces Backlash After Criticizing Black Students' Test Scores. Now, notice this is a black principal, right? And he's criticizing his own kind. So it's going to be funny. It's the Hodge twins or the conservative twins now, and they are absolutely to die for as far as their content. They are so dadgum funny. But anyway, today we got the Coke. Don't forget to like and subscribe as we go throughout this if you like this content. Let's get started.
I've heard from several parents today who are deeply concerned about what their
Sorry
high
guys, I'm
schoolers
eating. I haven't had
describe
time to eat all day.
a meeting just for
Went 15 hours without
African-American
food.
students. That's according to the kids who attended. They say Woodrow Wilson High School principal Chandra Hooper Barnett called a meeting of African-American students only during advisory period. And according to multiple parents, she told them that they were the reason that the school has a B rating and not an A.
So she.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah.
I don't even have to research that.
No,
I know
we
that's
know.
a fact.
That's a
It's got to
fact.
be. It's Dallas, Texas. That's
Look. Look. You can go to any school in within 100 miles of where I live right now. And the African American, because we're trying to be politically correct right now, the African American test scores are so low that they tank the average of the entirety of most schools. That is a fact. That is something you can look up. That's something that you can talk with people about. That's something you can talk with teachers. I have 5 friends who are teachers. They say all the black kids make in the 60s, the 40s, the 70s, and most of the white kids make in the 80s and 90s as an average. So it's anecdotal. It's real life fact. It's noticeable in test scores. So no racism here. We're just looking at the facts. It is what it is. So let's continue.
Jasmine Crockett's neck of the woods.
Yeah,
That's how
Yeah.
she got elected.
That's
I
right.
bet they get an A in fitness and PE and gym. I bet you got straight A's.
Yeah, but yeah, I don't even have to research that. Just like I don't have to research what's the most dangerous neighborhoods in.
It ain't white neighborhoods,
I
I'll
have to
tell you
research
that.
that. I hear that. I'm like, that rings true.
Yeah, and we're not trying to disparage black folks, but that's just
You don't have to. They do it themselves. You know, why is it that across the entirety of the world, everywhere on planet Earth, everyone, if you ask them what is safer, a black neighborhood or a white neighborhood, 100% of them say white neighborhood. Stereotypes are earned, they're not given.
that's just how everything is.
Yep.
It's just a fact.
They're saying what I'm saying. They're
Part
just
of
being
our,
nicer.
Yeah, kids they take their schooling much more serious than black kids.
Well, it's a culture thing because I remember when I was getting all A's and
Yeah.
stuff
Yeah.
before I converted to being full black when I wanted to be white. I remember I was on
Oh my
teachers
goodness.
list B roll and I was on honor roll,
Until
right?
I talk some sense into you, so why you wasting all this time studying?
Right, and I remember the black kids would teach, "Oh, you want to be white? That's why you sound kind of white right now. You want to be white." It's a cultural thing.
They used to, my black friends actually, last week, I was doing a job with them, and they love me. When I see them, we're like, "What's up?" We slap hands and we do our handshake, man. And well, I mean, you guys won't know him, but I have a guy named Edwin, and we call him Ed, and Montarius, we call him Mon. And Ed Montarius, Ed Mon, they come up to me and we do some shenanigans, man. But they were kind of saying the exact same thing. You know, they they tell me every time. They're like, "Oh, dude, you so white. Oh, Parker, you're so white." They're like, "Dang, man." And then Mon will say something like completely out of character, and he'll go, why, what wonderful weather we're having. I like that it's 50 degrees and not 90 today." And then Ed goes, "Bruh, you so white." And it's like if they talk proper, they have a decent thought, or they become a good person all of a sudden, they stop acting ghetto. they're considered white. And I'm like, no, dude, you can be a good, upstanding individual and be black. You don't have to be ghetto to be black. I've got a lot of customers who are black, but they're very highly esteemed, and they're very wealthy actually as well. Some of them live in $5 million houses that I visit and do work for. So you know, it's like you can be black and not be ghetto. It's fine. It's fine. But that's just a personal story.
Yeah, but and why is
It
that a
reminded
cultural
me
thing?
of
Because a majority of black
it's
families
just a
they didn't
cultural.
really like my parents. My dad, I think he had a sixth grade education. My mom, she dropped out in 10th grade.
Well, it was they grew up in the Jim Crow South.
Yeah,
Look, look. 10th grade education doesn't mean anything. The most wealthy people on planet Earth do not have a college degree. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah,
that's why we don't take education. Sure.
yeah.
B
I
rating
want to
and
see.
not an A. Jennifer Bush heard it from her son, a sophomore.
She said that. I was like, that's what they said to you?
Yep.
I was like, I'm calling the school tomorrow.
She's one of many parents to tell me
A
that
black
they
Karen.
called and complained.
I thought it was extremely discriminatory and inflammatory to sit down a bunch of black children and tell them that they're the reason why the school is in a bad light. And
Well, I mean, I don't think that at all. I think you're a liberal person with bad ideas in your head because if that's the truth, then it's the truth. There's no hiding it. Now, you could say, well, I don't like that he said that. Well, that's fine, but he has the right to say it, and there's nothing wrong with saying it. If you have 10 white students and 10 black students, and all the white students are making A's and all the black students make D's, well, then literally they are tanking the school's average, and that is a fact. And that's what's kind of going on here.
That's discriminatory.
That's
We need to be
discriminatory.
able to
So
talk
facts
about
are
this.
discriminatory.
Well, not only facts, but listen to this. The black people who are tanking the scores are discriminatory upon themselves. You know why? Because they're the ones causing the school to tank, right? The school scores. So the black people who don't want to be labeled are labeling themselves because they don't want to make an A. I mean, it's this is ridiculous.
You know what? That black principal is actually trying to encourage.
Yeah.
She want to
black
see
kids do
Let's
that.
pick
the
it up.
black
Let's
kids
go.
do better.
Yeah.
She wants to see the black kids succeed.
Yeah, if
What's wrong with that?
If I get a job
Nothing.
with an employer and they call me to office and Kevin, you know
That's
what?
right.
You're not performing so well.
Yep. You get
You
fired.
need to pick it up, right? And I say, hey, you know what? I think that's discriminatory. You're telling me that because I'm black.
And hey, I'm just throwing this out there. A lot of employers are scared to death, and I was an employer at one point, and I was afraid to hire black people because, and I ended up not hiring anyone just to get out of the hiring thing. But there was always this case of, well, if they don't perform, and I say, hey, this is a role where you make money based on commission, so depending on how many countertops you sell or how many installs you sell, that'll be where your money comes from. Well, if they decide, well, I'm just not going to work today, I just don't like working, so I'll take 2 weeks off, and then they complain they don't have any money, and I'll be like, hey, you need to perform, or you don't make any money. Period. Nothing racist about it. Nothing like that. It's just it is what it is. And they say, well, that's not fair. Is it because I'm black you're not paying me? No, it's not because you're not black. It's because you're lazy. You're not working. That's what lazy people do. They don't work. They shirk responsibility. So you are lazy. It has nothing to do with you being black. And then they're like, okay, well, then if I fire them, now they go get a lawyer and drag me through court, even though they're going to lose. Even though they're going to lose, they're still going to do a racist court case against me, slap me with one of these slap on the wrist court trials where you just show up and say, hey, this is what happened. This is how it actually happened. Dude wasn't working. We've got evidence. We've got documents. I mean, the guy just didn't want to work. He didn't make any money. He sued me. Boom. He says it's because he's black. Has nothing to do with it. But then you got to deal with all that. And so a lot of employers don't hire black people a lot of times. By law, they're supposed to. But the ironic thing is a lot of black people don't have good credentials. So technically they're weeding themselves out of the job market. So, I mean, it's, employers, if you ask them what type of people would they hire, they'll always say white or Asian. And that's just a fact. I mean, I'm not trying to, there's a lot of information coming out here. It's not racist. It is what it is. I know tons and tons and tons of business owners, and I talk with them personally every day, and that's a reoccurring theme. But yeah, so we don't want to be sued with a slap on the wrist court case because a black person who's notoriously known stereotypically to not work as hard as a white person. You hire them because you don't want to be, you don't want to be discriminatory. So you end up hiring him because, you hire him and then he ends up not working and then you fire him and then he sues you. So that's kind of the cycle that most employers see. And that's a very real thing. That's why a lot of companies, the quality goes down so much because they'll hire a lot of black folks and they'll hire some white folks, but the black folks won't quit and they're afraid to fire them. And then the black folks don't work as hard, so they're afraid to fire them too. And then the white people leave because the executives start taking it out on the white people to perform and to pick up the slack of the black people. They get tired because they're not going to make the black people do it because they're afraid of a lawsuit. So then the white people leave and then it becomes predominantly black and then the quality goes down to where the company will eventually go out of business kind of thing, especially with smaller companies. But sorry for the rant, but that's a hot topic for me.
Is correct.
That's right.
I do suck at my job, but the only reason why you making this as an issue is because I'm black.
That ain't got nothing to do with
That's
black.
pretty much
Test
what
score.
the black parents are saying right now.
Yeah, that's the logic.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
She's a
Black Karen. Yep.
we got a black principal running school, trying to hold these Negroes accountable. Y'all messing up the school. You're making the white kids look bad.
Making the white kids look
Trying to
bad.
hold these Negroes accountable, and then the black parents, you know they single mothers.
He's not wrong, man.
Well, a lot of
They
them.
told me, Tyrone, they called me and all was talking about, they pulled all the black kids talking about y'all was messing the school up.
He does not
Is in a
hold
bad
anything
light
back.
in their eyes.
And today, an email to parents from Woodrow Wilson announcing a new interim principal and acknowledging a, quote, recent incident occurred on our campus that does not reflect the values and
Oh,
expectations
ain't
of our
that
school
something?
community.
Ain't
No
that
mention-
something?
It's a white
Ain't that
principal.
something?
Why they replace a black woman for holding the black kids accountable and y'all replace her with a white woman?
Yeah. I'm sure she's a woke white woman too.
Even worse.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's what I call systemic racism.
You can't hate. You gotta love it.
That
This is real.
nuts.
Yeah.
mention of Principal Hooper Barnett, but she also wrote an email to parents over the weekend to apologize, writing in part, quote, the decision to hold that meeting and subsequent discussions that transpired was not appropriate. I take full ownership and responsibility for
It's
what
not appropriate to tell a stupid kid they're stupid. It's not appropriate to tell people that their low test scores are making the school look bad. It's not appropriate for black people to make low grades. Like, all of this isn't appropriate.
what occurred, and I want to assure you that it was never my intent to single out or cause harm to any group
They're
of
making this.
students.
They're making this
So
such
you
a big
cannot
deal.
hold black students accountable.
Well,
That's all
That's-
she was doing.
That's like what I was saying with the workforce. People don't want to hire black people because they are notoriously lazy. Like, a lot of them are. It's not all of them. There's plenty who aren't, but like, that's the stereotype, and that's what employers fear. Hiring someone just to get sued. It's such a dicey, and the laws really do support the employee, not the employer. So I mean, it's, you got to be careful with your hiring and firing. And if you do fire, you have to have mountains and mountains of evidence, because as soon as it goes to a court, they're going to look for 100 ways to disprove that the black man was being lazy. They're just going to look, you could have overwhelming evidence, like, 3 or 4 documents, and they're like, well, why don't you have 5? Well, why don't you have 10? Like, that's just a little laziness. We need to see a lot of laziness. But with the white guy, you throw one document out there. Oh yeah, that white guy, he's being lazy. Got to let him go. Okay, he's gone, and that's it. But that's how the courts. Unfortunately, a lot of the courts are owned by liberals, black women, black judges. So the courts do swing in their favor for sure. There's not even a doubt about that.
She actually
So-
apologized for doing the right thing.
Apologize for doing
That's
the right.
crazy.
That's a mistake. Don't ever apologize.
Yeah, that's what they say about crime statistics. They say they racist. You can't say black people commit a majority of the violent crime in the country. That's going to make white people racist.
Well, people who are not white do then.
No, we're just trying to warn white folks. Yeah.
The email never explicitly said the exact circumstances of that meeting. Parents tell me they want more information.
It's kind of weird because like it's such a double standard, and it's hard to understand with black folks. Like I said, I guess I'm kind of nerdy. The way I act on camera is exactly how I am in real life. Like I say things how I mean them. You know, I talk about serious things. I don't really beat around the bush too much. I'm tactful with how I say things a lot of times, depending on the audience. But with my black friends, they call me the N word. They say, you know what? And I can't say that. I say, look, I know that means you respect me. I know that means you like me. And I like you too. But I cannot say that. And you'll never hear me say it just because I think we can have a relationship, a friendship with where you'll never hear me say that word, don't know the word, don't say it. I just don't believe in any disrespect ever, even if we're friends. Um, just not for me. But they still called me it all the time, and I'm like, hey man, you got to cut that out. We're in public. You don't want someone to overhear you calling me a, you know what, and so I can't. It's just funny. It's like when I get along really good with black people, that's the first thing they want to call me. They say, hey man, you know what, and I'm like, I appreciate that, but I'd rather you just say, hey, that's my boy, or that's my man, that's my dude right there. I'd rather you say that than my you know what. Just I don't like it. It's just not for me. But to them, it's a term of endearment for people they love, and I'm cool with it. I just don't like, for me personally, I don't
On
like
what
the
happened
disrespect.
and what was said.
I never
There
call
is
white
a lot
people
to be
crackers or
desired. Like, I'm
anything.
happy
I won't
at
do
the
it.
rapid response. I don't know how it was allowed to happen in the first place.
Well, she's the principal.
Yeah, that's how.
You know what's crazy, Keith? Yeah. She probably put all the kids whose scores sucked.
Yep.
And
Which was all the black. Was all the
Which is
black
all
kids.
that. Yeah,
so
yeah,
she was
yeah.
trying to do the right thing, but because these kids were black, they're trying to labor as
Racist. Yeah. Racist.
being racist.
Yeah.
Which I thought black people couldn't be racist.
Hey, Kim, I guarantee you.
Look, man, look. Out of the 100,000 black people I've interacted, I would say maybe like less than 100 I knew weren't some way, some shape, some form of or fashion racist. If I had a statistic based on Parker's real life experience, which I've worked with tens of thousands of people, and a majority of them are black. If I had to tell you the amount of people in a percentage that were not racist, in some way or another, it'd probably be like 3%, 4%, like 4 out of every 100. Yeah, yeah, and I'm being dead serious. I'm not being ugly. I've learned to deal with it because when you go in predominantly black neighborhoods and schools and businesses and all of that, trying to make a living, you recognize that it's just a cultural thing to hate white people. And there, a lot of black people are so racist that they don't even know it. I'd say about 95, 96%, to be honest. It's in their culture. It's how the moms are raising them to fear the white man, to hate the white man. The white man made us slaves, so every white man's evil. All of that is in their culture. It's in their parenting. So, you know, be it what it may, I'm just being honest. Now, when I was raised, I wasn't raised to have anything to do with black people. I wasn't raised to say, well, black people are this way or that way. There wasn't even a mention of any other race. We grew up normal, treat people with respect, love your neighbor. That's a Christian principle. And, do right all the time, even when no one's looking. There was no mention of black. But unfortunately, in black households, there is an anger and a hatred towards white people. And these people think they're not racist, but I say 96% are, in my personal experience.
If the roles were reversed,
That's right. Yep.
and we was living in the twilight zone, and all the test scores was being hurt in the school because of the white kids.
Yeah.
Do you think white
The
parents
black
would push
person would
back
come
on
out
that.
and say that. No.
Nope.
Nope, not at all.
It would look stupid. They said, why would
Yep.
I go in and complain that they brought my kid into the auditorium or into the gym and told him he had to get his grades up because he's hurting the school's overall score?
Yeah.
Why would I be upset at the principal holding my student accountable?
Of course
That's
not.
And see, that goes back. I'm sorry for pausing so much. We're just hitting so many heavy points here. White people, as much as black people want to believe it, 99% of white people are not racist. In fact, they're so scared by being labeled racist by racist people, black people, who are genuinely racist as a stereotype. White people are so afraid of being labeled a racist. There was a guy who I was doing a job for, and he just didn't get what he wanted. He wanted me to like bend the rules and do illegal stuff that my company is not allowed to do legally. I mean, I have to provide documentation to a state and federal board, and he wanted me to do all of this illegal stuff. And I looked him in the eye. I said, "Look, man, Mr. So-and-so, I want to help you. There's other ways to help you, but I can't do what you want me to because it's illegal. But I would be willing to do it another way." Well, guess what he did? It's because I'm black, isn't it? And I looked at him and I said, "Yes, sir. It is absolutely because you're black." And it caught him off guard. He didn't know what to say. He said, "That's racist, man. I'm going to have you fired." I said, "Man, you can call me whatever you want. I'm still not doing it." I said, "You call me racist, but I just told you no. It has nothing to do with race." I said, "You call me whatever you want. It doesn't bother me, but you're not getting this because it is illegal. And I'm sorry, but if that's not okay, and if you think I'm a racist, our business is done." And I canceled him out right there. It was a $5,000 contract. Could have had it done in a day. Made $5,000 in a day, easy. He just wasn't willing to work. He was a racist. The black man was a racist, man. Dadgummit.
That's how white people think.
Yeah, especially if it's black kids outscoring your white kid. Like, wait a minute, how you let these black kids beat you?
I'd be ashamed.
I'd be, yeah, I mean, I
I'm
would be
telling you,
too.
the principal, she probably put all the kids whose scores are undermining the rest of the school's performance.
Yeah,
There's no way to
Yeah,
tell,
that's what
but
she did.
yeah,
They
I
just
mean, it
happened
probably,
to be black.
yeah.
The black kids went home and started trashing her.
Hey, Kelvin,
That's what happened.
they didn't just happen to be black. It's because they're black.
I know that, but I'm telling you,
He's playing devil's
the
advocate,
intent
yeah.
of the principal was to try to improve the school's score.
Yeah.
So she pulled the students whose
Yeah.
scores are undermining the rest of the school.
Now, if the
They
principal,
just happen to be black.
yeah,
Yeah, that's what he's saying. He's basically saying she just pulled a list of all the lowest test scores, and everyone on that list was black. That's what he's saying. It's not because they were black that she pulled them and then said, "Hey, because y'all are black, we need to bring up our test." No, the lowest scores in the school were all black. So there again, stereotypes are earned, not given. They didn't make that up. The data's the data, and they have those numbers, and they report to the federal, they report to the feds about stuff like that. There's all kind of government agencies that are involved, and this, that, and the other, and there's government funding, and so all of this is depending upon test scores, which, if all the lowest scores are black, then it's just black people have lower test scores, and that it is what it is at that school. Numbers do not lie. That's a saying I live by. Numbers
Now, if
do
the
not
principal
lie.
tried to expel all these students because of their bad test scores.
Why would
and
he
tried to
expel them?
Get them to go to some other school, like a continuation school. Yeah, I would.
I mean, if they were chronically failing and they just had no redeem, and you tutored them and did everything you can, you extended the olive branch, you did this, you did that, you helped them out once, they didn't take to it, they still fail, kick them out. Kick them out, send them somewhere else. But don't just get rid of them because they have one bad test score. I mean, you got to at least try.
Say, hey, that's discriminatory.
I would agree
Yeah,
with that.
that's right.
If
You
she
have to
was kicking
extend the
out
olive
black
branch
kids
first.
Yeah.
to get to school,
You gotta go.
That's discriminatory. You gotta go. You drag.
You
got to
mentor them first. Yeah. Or you got to hold them for
Let's keep this
mandatory
going.
meetings
I don't know how
and
she
tutoring.
felt comfortable enough to do that.
I reached out to both Dallas ISD and to Principal Hooper Barnett. No response from either so far.
Yep.
And no information right now on whether she faces any discipline or whether she could return to work. In Dallas,
Let's
I'm
hope
Luke
she's
Clark.
fired.
She's gonna get fired.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's hope she gets
Strong
fired.
Black woman.
Just trying to encourage black students
To be
to do
racist.
better. They can do better.
hold them accountable. But there's no accountability in the black neighborhoods. There's no accountability in the
That's
black community.
because
Because
I'm gonna tell you, and this is gonna sting, but black mothers are so heathenous. They're so vile. You know, they account for like what 70, 80% of all abortions in the U.S. So they're murdering children. Black women tend to be one of the highest single mother groups in America. You know, black women create single mother homes predominantly that produce 80% of all inmates in America. So, of all people who go to prison, 80% come from single mother homes. Black people are notorious for that, especially black women. Black women are violent. They're aggressive. They're angry quickly. People are scared to them because they're going to speak their mind. They're going to get it their way or the highway. And a lot of times it ends up being, you know, their way because people are scared of them. But, you know, they're breeding this, you know, and look, the black man, he's got it hard. The black man who wants to do right, the chances he finds a good black woman who isn't just angry and wrathful and vengeful and lives that single mother lifestyle and mindset, that woke liberal garbage mindset, the odds are slim to none that you find a decent woman. I'm just throwing it out there. The black community is so fragmented. And because of that, the men want to genuinely, from what I hear, the men are genuinely wanting to be good fathers. A lot of them are. But because of the mother and the cheating and the whoring and the running around and the cussing and the aggressiveness, they just have to leave. And so, you know, these women are creating environments where the men can't stay and the men want to stay. They're also creating environments that are setting these kids up to go to prison for a lifetime. They're learning bad behavior. They're learning violence. They're learning anger. They're learning how not to deal with life properly. They're learning how to go to prison at an early age. I see it all the time. I work with young black single mothers every day. I haven't seen one household that's different from the other. They all look the same. The mother's trying to be the man, doing a terrible job at it. Just these people need men in their houses. These people need, you know, a man in the house.
just look at
And
us.
without it, they're going to head to prison
You know what?
eventually.
This wouldn't even be an issue if them kids was white. Of course it wouldn't be. What is
What is the difference between a black household and a white household? The father. That's the only difference. We have a heart. We both have a heart. We both have legs. We both have a brain. We both think. We both bleed. There's no difference. The only difference is one has a father and the other doesn't. And I'm not saying all white people have a father. That's not true. A lot of them don't. But we're not known for it. Black people are. That stereotype is earned, not given.
shame, man? A black woman's actually trying to help her people do better. And she's going to get fired for it.
Yep.
Or maybe she's not going to get fired. Oh, they're going to fire her. They replaced her with
Most likely.
Here, let me find that. They replaced her with a. This is
Oh,
the woman they replaced her
Lord.
with. A white woman.
Woke, I can tell you.
That's
Single
supposed to-
cat
white
lady.
liberal woman gonna come and say, look, okay. It's not your fault. It's not your fault. You're
It's
black.
okay to be
Yeah,
black.
You probably ain't got a lot of.
It's
salt
okay
in
to
you,
make
but
an
for
F.
some reason, you know how to use your hands good. You good with your hands. Yeah, we'll focus on something for you that's good with your hands. Here, take this basketball. Go there and practice. Leave the academia to the white people.
Oh my goodness, man. You've got to be kidding me. Oh my goodness. Let me pause this video here. Holy moly, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that video, man. There's a lot of good nuggets of truth in there. Um, there's a lot of really good stuff in there. You know, like I say, anytime we cover, you know, predominantly racism or black this, black that, white this, white that, it's kind of near and dear to my heart because I live in an area where it is like 90 some odd percent black. And, you know, it's just the area we're in is so beautiful. You know, our family's close by, um, you know, and things like that. So I have to work with them every day. You know, I notice trends. I notice all these things. Everything I'm saying comes from a loving Christian perspective. It is my opinion that if I do not tell the truth, then I am a liar. And that means if I see a problem with a certain group of people, it doesn't mean it's racist. It means we need to talk about it. And I'm a big believer in if my words offend you by speaking the truth, then your heart is in the wrong place and we cannot get along. So by me seeing such a massive problem in the black community, this is near and dear to my heart. I only want them to succeed. Like I wish they could experience the love and the joy that Jesus has brought to me and my family. I wish they could enjoy the fruits of their labor by working really hard and earning more money and playing by the rules and just figuring out how to become better. They'll conquer life, they'll have good love, they'll have good marriages, they'll have nice children, they'll grow up, they'll get to experience the love of God and the love of a family, and they'll get to invest in generations to come. But when you're in a single mother household, it's extraordinarily hard to provide for generations to come because you just, number one, you're not making as much money as I feel like you should. Number two, the world is stacked against you. Number three, the odds that the child is going to have many mental issues due to only a feminine parenting style, which in the black community is extraordinarily aggressive and violent. You do what I say, or I'm going to beat the heck out of you, and they mean it. They'll beat the tar till that kid can't stand up, and then the kid will grow up resenting the mom, then hiding some of the dealings he does. He'll get into drugs, he'll get into alcohol, he'll get into guns and gang activity, he'll start gambling, and then it goes so bad from there. So I mean, it's just like a gateway drug. Single mothers are the gateway drug before violent crime happens. We've got to stop this single mother stuff. That's the biggest problem. It's not a black problem, it's a single mother problem. But anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thanks so much for watching. If you made it to the whole end of the video, please leave me a comment saying I watched the whole thing. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.